Unfortunately, you'll likely notice that the audio in this episode isn't up to our usual standard. It sounds like I'm talking from inside of a well or a cave of some sort. What appears to have happened is that StreamYard, for reasons unknown, randomly decided to select the internal built-in microphone to my laptop instead of this microphone right here, which I always use for recording. And while we always want to and strive to give you the best, we have to balance that with my real world obligations as a full-time criminal defense lawyer. So unfortunately, I didn't have time to completely re-record this episode, but I hope you'll forgive us and bear with us for this technical issue with this episode. And I hope that you will nevertheless find the episode useful, because although hollow sounding, the audio is still clear. And so remember, don't talk to police. One of the, if not the most enduring myth or misunderstanding about the law in Canada comes from the fact that people think that they have to answer the door if police are knocking on their door or pounding on their door or yelling for them to let them in. I've covered this a few times, but I figured can't do that enough, and it's good to go back because people may not have seen some of my earlier content. So we'll have a look, we'll rehash a previous episode to give us the details on why you don't have to answer the door for the police. Hello, my name is Nicholas Wansbutter. I'm a lawyer in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to Don't Talk TV. So before I jump into the episode proper, I just would like to encourage, invite, ask people to consider liking, sharing, subscribing, following us on social media. I know a lot of people think we're being shadow banned. I don't know whether we are or not. What I do know is that we've been stuck at 8,500 subscribers for about 2 years now, maybe more. And the only way I think we can break free of that is with lots of comments and likes, and of course sharing. But comments and likes will help activate the algorithm. People have been commenting a lot more lately, so thank you very much for that, and please keep it up. So that said, do you need to answer the door for police? Well, the short answer is no, you do not. And as I said in the intro, we're going to have a look at an older episode. So it's going to be kind of interesting to go back and look at episode 1 of Don't Talk TV. That was almost 5 years ago. Well, about 4.5 years ago. It was right before Christmas of 2020. I did that video. Viewers may remember it. At that time, we were under a complete lockdown, at least in Ontario. People were being threatened with jail or fines, being told by the media how you're evil if you want to have Christmas dinner. So it just seemed like an opportune time to start Don't Talk TV and start it with an episode explaining why you don't have to answer the door for the police. No ifs, ands, or buts. You do not have to answer the door for police. If they have a warrant, they're coming in no matter what, but you don't have to let them in if you don't want to. So, well, let's have a look at that episode. So here, I've got it queued up here. It's kind of interesting to see a few years ago. I don't know what viewers think. I don't think I'm too much different looking 5 years ago, which is interesting. I guess the stress of the years hasn't done me in too much. So let's have a bit of a watch of this, and maybe I'll make some comments as I feel appropriate as we go along here. There is no positive duty to answer the door, not even when it's the police that are knocking on the door. Now, there are some rare exceptions to this. For example, if you're serving a conditional sentence of imprisonment in your home, you have to answer the door for curfew checks. Likewise, if you're on a strict bail plan and there's a term that you must present yourself at the door for curfew checks, you'd have to present yourself then. But aside from specific exceptional circumstances like that, there is no positive duty for you to answer the door. Failing to answer the door of your home is not obstruction of justice. Now, if the police may try and make you think that it's obstruction of justice, they may even tell you that you're obstructing justice if you're not answering the door. But
there's numerous court decisions that indicate that passive resistance is not obstruction of justice. A conviction cannot be had for obstructing justice merely by doing nothing, and not answering your door is doing nothing. You have to take a positive step to impede police in their investigation for there to be an obstruction of justice charge. Moreover, I don't think they ever could make a blanket positive duty to answer the door for police because of protections that we enjoy under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Specifically, Section 7 of the Charter guarantees the right to life, liberty, and security of the person. And that includes the right to silence and to not speak to agents of the state if you don't want to.
So, I think I said it perfectly back then in episode 1. Even though we're at episode 254 now, nothing's changed from what I said in that video. You simply don't have the right. There's nothing in law saying you have to answer the door. And as I explained way back then, it's not obstruction of justice to not answer your door. As I said, there are some exceptions to these rules. I gave a couple examples there, but for the most part, you do not have to answer the door. Just period. The end of. I don't know what more I can say about it other than that, but you can watch episode 1 if you want to get a little bit more detail than the snippet that I showed here, although I think that's probably the most important part of the episode. But again, you don't have to answer the door. Now that said, this video is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, contact a lawyer. You can call another lawyer or myself, and my contact information is listed below if you want me to be the lawyer that gives you some advice, something specific to your circumstances. In episode 1, I also talked about consent, what a valid consent is. You should probably consult a lawyer if you're ever in doubt about that. But again, episode 1 gives you more detail on that. And if you have topics you'd like to see us cover, a suggestion, please send that to the email address listed below. We're always happy to hear your input and to try to accommodate show requests as much as possible. And as I said at the beginning, if you found this video at all interesting, helpful, or informative, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and following us on social media.